Hello?
Hi.
Can you guys hear me induced on the live stream? Can they hear me?
1 second.
I'm gonna at everyone again if so.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Alright, cool. Does it say we have zero? Oh, okay. Viewers are coming in. Hi, Ghost. Yes, it's Jake. I am white. Yes. Oh. Yeah, my name is white too. It's not displaying the stream. This. Okay. Hey, Shay, do you have the stream?
Yeah, I got it open. You're good.
I think the link changed.
Yeah, the link would have changed, but you're
Oh,
good.
well, I've been announcing the other link this whole time. How are you guys doing? Alright, once some more people join, we're gonna get started with the questions. But yeah, you can feel free to start leaving some in chat now. Any questions related to botting or reselling or anything you'd want to know. This is Jake, by the way. Yeah. Shay's here too, if you want to say hi, Shay.
Hi.
Is there a bad echo?
There's no echo at all.
Definitely not going to talk about cracked Watson here, Dawson. The best bot right now for anti-bot, after the kits drop this past week, it's Cyber. And Kodai'd probably be second behind. And then Soleil is also doing pretty good, but definitely Cyber right now after that kith drop. They literally took 60-70% of the stock. What's up, Isaac? Oh, we're gonna get Thoga in the group, Obami. Just wait on it. We're getting that brand deal going. All right, so we got a good amount of people in here. Google Cloud for Supreme. If you're gonna use Google Cloud for Supreme, you 100% have to use proxies. Um, because Google's IPs are really bad and not clean. So you would have to use proxies. There's no way around it. We're not getting a cyber group by Ghostist, but I'll run all your free slots on cyber. So it's kind of the same thing, like a little bit. TKS on Antibot. TKS has done pretty good on Easy Supply in the past. Didn't do too well last drop um, until Antibot was off, and it didn't do too well in Kith, but I think TKS will be Antibot soon. For Soul AIO, the best Antibot modes are their like extra safe mode and then manual checkout. Um, if Footlocker is crashing and it always does, so we leave. Yeah, 100% foot sites tasks you gotta leave running for like 2 hours. Um, so like because the site just completely dies and like even when the site dies your tasks just keep refreshing, so once the site like is live for 1 second maybe one of your tasks will get through. um, Amen. I'm really glad that Juice helped you graduate from Harvard. Really stoked for that. Upcloud servers are good for Supreme, but you just still want to use proxies just to be safe. um, Yes, Upcloud Chi with Fatal Proxies is insane. That's what I used last season, and I cooked a ton. That's probably what I'm going to use this season too. So, Upcloud, yeah, Upcloud's like probably around 80 to 120 bucks a month. So if you want to run restocks, it's good for that. But you could always make them every like 2 to 3 days before the drop. Um, help you get braces for your cat. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I can make a guide. We'll definitely have Gon make a guide. He's really good at that. So, um, the best proxies for Supreme, I'd probably go with AAO DC proxies if it's anything like last season. So, Fatal proxies are really good. Surge proxies probably do well. Hex, Space proxies should do great. And there's plenty of providers. I'll make sure you guys have plenty of proxy group buys before Supreme starts, so we're all set. AWS, as long as you use proxies, will be fine for Supreme. And then top 3 servers for Supreme. For Supreme server isn't that important, but if you want to just be the safest, do an AWS server, because I believe Supreme servers are in New York, so Virginia's fairly close to New York, which would lead to them being pretty good. Um, yeah, that's the problem with foot sites. Um, the question was, doesn't that use a whole lot of data on my resis if I just leave my tasks running? So yeah, you will eat up your resi plan if you have to leave your tasks running for 2 hours. Certain AIO DCs do work on foot sites like Fatal Proxies, and a few other proxy providers. So you have, but AIO proxies might be a bit more expensive for the amount you get, so you have to judge whether or not it's better to spend more on AAO and have them be unlimited, or just buy a residential plan and potentially burn it out. Hey Steve said, I thought Fatal said doesn't work on Supreme. Actually, I've worked with Nick a lot on this. He's the Fatal Proxies owner. He wasn't really sure if they worked on Supreme because he didn't really do Supreme that often. And I started using them on Supreme and cooked really hard. So now we know they work on Supreme. Best residential proxies for Easy Supply, Matthew? Well, Juice proxies should be out pretty soon. Hopefully before the next Easy Supply drop, but we'll see. Otherwise, for now, I'd say that some good providers are Surge. Surge is always consistent. Um, Revolve proxies has done decent for me. Chi cooked. But just wait for Juice proxies. That's gonna be crazy. And great deal for you guys too. And residential completely unbanned on all sites, so that'll be great. um, Thyre Star said the best Supreme bots. F3 is probably one of the best. Candy Preem, Mech Preem is really great, and then Adept. I think those 4 will be like the main contenders for the next season. And then Cyber and Kodai also are really good on Supreme. Um, Matthew G said, I think Supreme tries to block servers. Yes, they do. So you just have to use proxies to bypass that. Um, is the Google server good, or should I get a better server, Tommaso? For Supreme, you could try it out the first week. It might be okay, but I'm always going to recommend AWS just because their servers are faster. And I don't know, I have just seen way better success when I switched from Google Cloud to AWS. Um, Juiced AIO. So for me, I don't like to announce stuff until I know it's working and ready to go. We're looking into Juiced AIO. We're working on it, but I have zero ETA on it, and I'm not gonna release it until it's working or mention it, like any GUI, any site list, anything. So as soon as that's working good and it's ready to be announced, I'll announce it. But I don't have an ETA for it, just to be completely honest with you guys. Um, what else? How can I run sup on Sol for the low? Jacob, I assume you're talking about Sol AIO. And I mean, you don't really have to invest a lot if you already have a bot for Supreme because proxies aren't super expensive and Supreme drops take like 8 seconds, so it's not like you have to run your tasks a long time. So you can pretty much just get like a 1 gig or a 2 gigabyte proxy plan and run Sol locally, or you can use a server if you want to, but we'll post a lot more detailed setup guides for Supreme closer to the drops. And that's going to make cooking and like cook groups and all that so much more fun because there's so many more drops and it's just a way better time. Oh, should I click the juiced icon open the juiced AO beta? Alright, so you guys can continue to ask questions. I'm going to answer some of the ones in the form I posted. So, for starters, first question is how do you solve the recent Shopify queue issues and being able to complete your order? So, the main thing that I would say on that is try to run bots that have anti-bot dealt with, which would unfortunately is limited to a few bots like Cyber, Kodai, and maybe Soul. They're getting close. If you're talking about manually and you don't have a bot, I would recommend utilizing Juice Bypass, the new tool that MoneyMind made. It's pretty great. I know that he cooked the Kith drop with it, so I would definitely recommend you guys check that out for the next anti-bot drop we have. And if you guys have any questions about it, just ask in chat. But that would be a really great tool to help you go manually on sites where the queue is just insane. And then another thing you can do is just try to leave one like tab open in your browser going manually so that maybe you'll get through a queue on that. Okay. I'm gonna go back to questions. I'm gonna switch it up. Um, so Little Boomstick said, "How did you market your brands/products?" Um, I'll keep that kind of brief because I can't say all my secrets, but basically just putting it in the right people's hands and also making sure that my products are quality. One thing that I don't like to promote are low quality products, so I don't. If the product that I'm promoting isn't up to par, I just won't promote it. So I make sure, and if I want to promote it, then I'm going to make sure it becomes up to par with my standards. So that I guess would be the best answer for that. Um, Matthew G, what's going to be new in AYCD? I can't say much, but let's just say you might be able to use it for more than just captchas and proxies. Maybe you'll be able to buy something with it one day. And no, I don't have an ETA for it, but AYCD is going to be crazy in the next month or so. Even though it already is the best tool on the market. So, Little Boomstick, when is Fatal AIO coming? I am not exactly sure yet. I know that they are beta testing on a couple sites this week. I am not like one of the owners of Fatal AIO. I'm just friends with their owner. Just gonna be great. Which is great because I've already got us a nice little beta testing opportunity. So some Juice members will be given the chance to beta test Fatal AIO when it is ready. So that's gonna be great. Theory Star, best proxies for Shopify right now, specifically anti-bot. You're gonna want to do residential proxies. Um, Juice proxies should be coming out in the next couple weeks, and that's going to be the best proxies once that's out. But for now, you could go with Cheat Cooked, Surge, Revolve. Those are all pretty good, and there's definitely some others. We'll make a list um, to put out for the time being until Juice Proxies is out in the Discord. um, AYCD, it's not AYCD AO, but it'll be funny. Um, Sorry about that. I heard Google's definitely not catching on to AYCD, so I'll just tell you guys all right now. The way AYCD works is it literally scrolls your mouse. It literally clicks on the screen. Like there's nothing like request based about AYCD. It literally emulates a real key being typed, and there's thousands and thousands of search queries we have. It's not repeating the same searches in one day. It's very randomized. They'll like I have not seen a single account flagged by AYCD yet, and we have almost 4,000 people running an average of 10 accounts. So that's like 40,000 accounts that could have potentially been banned in the past 4 or 5 months that haven't been banned. So anything about AYCD being caught by Google is false, at least at this time. And if that were to happen, we would immediately tell you guys to stop running your accounts and we would fix it. So you can just continue to run like normal. Um, Bread Dirt proxies, are they overrated or underrated? They have some of the best farming proxies on the market, and then also they have um, pretty good resis. With the state of Shopify right now, I'm not sure how much I could recommend them for DC proxies, but or for Shopify drops, but for like foot sites and sneakers and like sites where AIO DCs have been working properly, I could definitely see them being a great option. Theory Star, how much will juice proxies be? We don't have a confirmed price yet, but they will be way cheaper for you guys than the public. So you guys will get an exclusive discount, and they'll be cheaper than other providers. So you won't need to use them for residentials anymore. They'll be resis because although the OPDCs that Fatal has are amazing, lately Shopify has just been completely like making no DCs work. So we have decided we need to have residentials as a backup because they residentials have been the only thing that have been working. Um, Little Boomstick, what's an upcoming bot with the most potential? Okay, so by upcoming, it's hard to say because I don't know of many new bots that have been popping up. But maybe bot that isn't hyped right now that could blow up soon. I would say Soul. Soul is pretty hyped, but the current value it's at 500. If they beat anti-bot, I could see it jumping up to like 750, 1,000. But that's if they beat anti-bot. Um, Another bot that I could see popping up and doing really well in terms of value, if WAP actually ever releases their 3.0 update, that would be pretty crazy. I'm trying to think what else. I don't see a couple bots doing well, but right now I think those would be the two main ones I could see eventually rising in the future. Oh yeah, and Supreme, Nova AIO actually could be a good one. I've heard their dev is a really dedicated dude, and he's really talented, so that could be one you should look at. And Soul Terminator, actually what Xtonic mentioned, I talk with their dev a lot, and I have high hopes for the bot. I think he just needs a bigger user base running it, but it has done well on past drops. Ghostus, the most successful bot I have for Shopify right now would be Cyber and Kodai. Cyber just recently became joined that list after the Kith drop, but those are the two best Shopify bots at the moment, in my opinion. Um, is Ganesh really that good on Footlocker? Yes, it is the best Footlocker EU bot. Very few bots come close to it. So yeah, it's amazing. RJ Brandy, with Soul being at the top with past recent drops, why isn't Soul price skyrocketing? And the main reason for that is Soul might do well on those drops, but it didn't do well on bots or on drops such as like Kith, which was like a big test for Shopify anti-bot. So that kind of caused it to idle in price. Another thing is that there are quite a few Soul copies on the market. So like when compared to Cyber, Cyber has a lot less, and less copies means a higher value. So Soul really has to do like completely take the stock from a drop. But that's easily could happen with the state of Shopify right now, but it's still kind of a gamble. Um, Theory Star Prism is doing good progress on Antibot. Yeah, their devs are always working really hard trying to beat Antibot, so I could see that eventually doing very well. Right now, I think it's struggling, but they have a lot more users now and more people are running, and so I think just over time that'll be better. um, Zachary, thank you, thank you very much. Theory Start, to be completely honest with you, I have no idea how Shopify's anti-bot works, specifically like the Kith or Easy Supply one. I know that they have this form of anti-bot that'll detect if your order is botted on certain sites and will instant cancel you, but many bots are implementing bypasses for that. Would you recommend and should you be scared slash iffy if you're testing VA/DC proxies on a VA AWS server on a Shopify site with a good tester like Fog London and you're getting around 250 ms speed? So first of all, a lot of people think Fog London is a good proxy tester. It really isn't because they just test pings and they don't test a full request. You guys should honestly use the AYCD proxy tester. It's really good because it actually like does a full request to the website, so it gives you a way more accurate speed prediction. Um, and 250 ms in Fog London, to be honest, is pretty high. I would test it with the AYCD one, see what you get on there, and then yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to one of the forum questions. It's kind of slow. Um, Question number 2 is, do I love Money Mine? And yes, I love Money Mine a lot. He's always putting in work. Question number 3, I just bought Ghost and I'd like some help to set it up. I know you cook with it, but the mods in Ghost haven't been the most helpful. Um, if you're referring to Phantom, I can definitely help you out, and I don't have Ghost. I've only used it a couple times, but I can still help you out with that. So just make a ticket in our server, the Juice server, and we'll help you out with it. Um, Best Resi proxies that won't break the bank. Well, that's the third question, and I'm gonna say Juice proxies when those are out. But for now, I'd say Surge proxies are pretty cost efficient, and I've heard actually blank proxies are pretty good too. At least they're Resis since they redid their scripts, I believe is what they said. But yeah, Juice proxy is gonna be the best. Um, RJ Brandy, do we have one-on-one team viewer support? Yes. So make a ticket in Juice. One of my staff may be able to help you now, but if not, I'll take a look after the live stream. So just anytime you guys need help, like one-on-one help, just make a ticket and juice. We'll either tell you we can help you or figure out where you can go to get the help. Um, Thoughts on Adept bot? I expect Adept to do well this season. I know that their owners are very passionate about Supreme, and when they don't cook, they get upset about it, and it just makes them want to cook harder. And they finally started cooking really hard last season, so I expect it to pick up this season too. Little Broomstick, how to build selling platform on Instagram/Twitter. So I personally don't sell on Instagram much, um, but I know a lot of my staff does. So what we'll do is we'll make an Instagram slash like social media selling platform guide, and we'll put all the different tips and like ways you can market it and various ways to make it easier to sell. And so once we do that, um, that'll make it way easier. But to be honest, I haven't sold on there enough to like confidently tell you, oh, this is what you need to do. Theory Star's Nike sneakers botting back. To be honest, sneakers is completely a gamble. Sometimes they mess up bots, sometimes they work. And either way, it's a complete gamble anyways because you're just entering your accounts in a lottery. So sneakers botting, the way I tell people, if you want to gamble and potentially make money, feel free to do sneakers, but there's like no skill to it. It's just start your accounts at the right time, make sure they're loaded in, and you're done. So botting sneakers is just straight gambling. So that's the what you kind of have to decide if you want to do that, because there's absolutely no skill involved or like no like methods. Just load the bot and press start. um, Juice sneakers bot. I will never. We will never make a sneakers bot just because like I don't really like how sneakers is just gambling. I would rather make a bot where it's like, okay, your proxies are good and the bot's really amazing, and so this is why it works so well. I don't like having to rely on, oh, well, they didn't put anti-bot on this drop, so we're gonna cook for sneakers, but next drop they did, so it doesn't work. I'm more into like I want something that I know can consistently cook. Um, Matthew Bowie, do I have a Chinese buyer? Um, I used to have a couple that I ran bulk slots for, but once I started juiced, I stopped running for them. But yeah. Tommaso, does anyone have a final mouse? I have a lot of final mouse. I will probably just allow you guys to buy them for retail if you want them, because I have a large amount. So once those ship, I'll make an announcement about that. Uh, Junfang Zhao, how was F3? F3 killed it last season, and I expect them to do insane this season too. RJ Brandy, I have Soul, Balco, and A and B. Would you recommend that I sell and buy Koda or Cyber? I I'd recommend, since A and B doesn't have a resale value, always keep A and B because it's really good on Foot Sites and Adidas. If you want to sell Soul and Balco and invest another like $1,000 to $2,000 into getting Cyber or Kodai, it might be good for you to initially like start copying, but there are still plenty of drops where Cyber and Kodai flop, such as the Kith Coke drop where Kodai did flop, but in the past Cyber has been flopping on Shopify a lot, so it's kind of a risk. If you want to potentially invest that money, and you could make a lot, but you have to rely on the devs of the bot properly updating and making sure it's working. Do I ever bought Soulbox? So actually, I'm gonna bought Soulbox tonight. I think the Unks are releasing there. I may be confusing it with a different shoe, but I'm pretty sure they are. And I don't normally bought Soulbox, so tonight I'm gonna give it a shot, and then I'll be able to give you more info on that. But I know that you need accounts. I know that PayPal checkout is like the move, and I know that the site is terrible and dies. So just like majority of EU sites, it's very hit or miss. And for EU sites, you need a ton of proxies, like 5 proxies per task, and you have to start your tasks like 45 minutes early for certain sites. I don't think Soulbox you have to though. But yeah, EU sites is just having a lot of proxies, running a lot of tasks, praying the site doesn't die. Um, is there any way to sell NSB? It's pretty hard to sell it. I would recommend you just rent it out if you're not looking to use it anymore, because it's pretty unsafe for the buyer for if the Discord's already been binded, and NSB doesn't really allow reselling. So if they catch you, they could potentially ban your key. But renting is allowed, so I would recommend you rent it out. Um, any success on the free slots? So there definitely has been success, but to be honest, the Kith drop since Kodai flopped, and I assumed it would work perfectly. I ran every single slot in Kodai, didn't hit. The Easy supply drop, my proxies didn't work, so I didn't hit many. I only hit a couple. For all these Jordan drops coming up, I'm gonna have 10 gigs of Resi data just ready, and I have my DC proxies, so hopefully I expect it to improve. But to be honest, the past two drops they were a struggle. Um, I'm botting Soulbox with Kaiser. I've never done it before though, and I've literally ran Kaiser one time, so I'm gonna give it a shot today and just see how it works. Um, how to rent out your bots? So you can advertise. We may start a service in the AYCD market where people can rent out their bots, but best thing to do would be to advertise it on social media. Maybe if you see someone looking to trial out a bot, you can message them and say, hey, like I'll rent you out Nike shoe bot for X amount of money this month. But we can make a detailed guide on like the best ways to rent out your bots and how to like prepare, such as like having guides ready. And yeah, we can get a guide going on that. Baby, thanks. I really like this YouTube thing. Really glad you're enjoying it. I plan on doing this consistently if you guys use it, or if you guys like it. Jen Fang, how do I use Safe 2 and bypass 1/2 on Kodai? So Safe 2 you're going to want to use on anti-bot drops that um, where basically what it does is it bypasses the queue immediately, but you have to start it around like 10 to 15 minutes early at a minimum. So like for drops such as like the Kith, for drops like Kith, you're gonna want to run it. Yeezy supply if the password page is not up, because bypass 2 does not work if you start your tasks after the password page goes up. If it's a drop where the password page is already up, you just want to run safe 1 if you know there's going to be anti-bot. So for sites like Yeezy supply, if the password page is already up, and then bypass 1/2 without the safe is for sites like I believe Trophy Room didn't have bot protection this drop, and like Bodega usually doesn't. Site like low-key Shopify sites like the Kong store. I think Deadstock finally started using anti-bot, but basically safe 1, safe 2 when anti-bot is up, bypass 1, 2 without safe when anti-bot is not up. Um, would I recommend buying a Supreme bot at resale? If you're gonna buy a Supreme bot, you should buy it before the season starts, because when the season starts, if that bot starts hitting, it's gonna rise really quickly. The bots I'd recommend you buy are F3, Candy Preem, Candy Preem especially because it's cheaper than the majority of the bots, and it's so good. Um, Mech Preem, which is I think around 200 right now, and Adept is really cheap right now, and it's because there's quite a bit of copies on the market. But if you can scoop a copy for like under $100, I could see it being a really good investment. Um, is botting really worth it if bots don't succeed reliably? I would say it's worth it, because if you hit that one drop where, like, let's say it's a Travis Scott drop and you hit 8 pairs and they're going for $1,000 a piece, well, you just made 8 grand. So maybe if you lost $40 on the last drop, kind of balances out. So you just have to decide if you want to keep continuing to take that risk. But there's been a lot of times where I've been like, shoot, Like I lost 50 bucks this drop, and then the next drop happens, and I'm like, wow, I just made 3 grand. So you just kind of gotta like balance it out. But there definitely is the chance that bots will flop, and you do lose money a couple drops in a row. But hopefully, with the free slots we have and the amazing information we provide, it prevents that. So, I could see as long as you stay juiced, your botting career should be pretty successful. Um, so Theory Star lately, I've been using Fatal just for everything, which unfortunately, since Kith and Yeezy Supply blocked anti-botting, or it's blocked DC proxies with their anti-bot, it hadn't been working. Uh, if the proxies are working for monitoring, such as like DC proxies like Fatal, then yes, you could run them as monitor proxies and then resis at checkout, but a lot of time they ban on the add to cart. So what I do is for bots like Cyber, let's say, I run DC proxies up until like 5 minutes before the drop, and then I switch to a residential list, which makes it so I save my data, but I'm also like ready as soon as the drop happens. Um, so Tommaso, what that means is when the before the product is live and the bot is monitoring it, waiting to pick up the stock, it'll be monitoring with Fatal DC proxies. And then once it finds the product and tries to add it to your cart, it'll switch the proxies from Fatal to a residential plan if that's what you choose. So that way, if Shopify decides to flag your proxies after the product is live, it'll bypass that. For Supreme, I usually cop on the first restocks. What would you say is the most important setting that helps you not catch drops immediately? So for Supreme, the trick is running. What I always did, I had a great Supreme success last season. And what I did is I just ran a ton of tasks, and you want to run various checkout delays and all that. And the main thing with Supreme is just run as many tasks as you can. And you want to run like we don't really know what's going to happen next season, but once the first week happens, I can give you guys a way better analysis on this. But for example, if there's a good photo tee out the first week, I'm going to run in one bot, let's say 500 tasks, and there's going to be a variation of like 1,000 checkout delay all the way up to 5,000, because you never know like how strong Supreme's anti-bot's going to be. And so if you play it safe and just run a variation of tasks, you're bound to get a couple of your tasks to go through. So that's my best recommendation for that. Let's see. Thoughts on what bot? So I I actually have pretty high hopes for what bot. I saw that they got a couple checkouts on the Travis drop. They got a good amount of checkouts on the Yeezy drop. And although they maybe didn't get as many as Kodai or like Cyber on the Kith drop, getting a couple checkouts on those sites when Antibot is up is crazy. So I assume that their dev must know something about Antibot. And if he potentially does beat it, that will mean Whatbot will be super, super good. Fatboy G, how do I go about creating tasks? Do you create each one, tweaking it from the last? So I'm assuming you mean like setting up a lot of tasks, and I can show you that right now. Um, but I don't have any profiles in, but I can still show you. Um, okay, so what you're gonna want to do, so I'm gonna import a bunch of test profiles into Cyber. Sorry, give me one sec. So let's say you have to make 500 tasks or 100 tasks for a Supreme Bot drop. Um, so what you're gonna want to do, this is what I always do. If it's a drop where you can run the same size, like or a random size, so just like a box logo, the main trick is just running a ton of tasks, like as many as you can handle. Um, so I tend to run like 600 on Supreme drops because it's strictly just running as many tasks as possible. So the quickest way to do that, sorry, my Cyber's not finding this file. Oh, okay, there we go. So this is what I do. So let's say you're going for a box Lego drop and you have to set up 1,000 tasks or whatever. So you're gonna do all this random box logo. You could leave it blank for random. For Supreme, you always want to do these categories because it picks up the product faster usually. You can do new, but I would do always the individual category. So say it's sweatshirts. So what I do is I always select all, even if I'm gonna make a variation to tasks, and I literally just if I want to make 500, I spam create. So boom, I make a bunch of tasks. And let's say I want okay, well I want all of these to be red. So I just do this, boom, edit, red. And I make all the tasks first and then I edit them after because that's just way quicker and way easier. And then I can better judge like, okay, I have this many red tasks and I have this many black tasks and I have this many blue tasks. So it's best to make all your tasks and then edit them after the fact if your bot supports that. Cyber makes it really easy. I know certain bots kind of make it difficult, so it's just dependent on the bot. Um, in what order F3 Mech Candy Adept and what were the others? Is there a guide on costs and monthly renewal prices? I would probably say based on last season's performances, F3 Mech. Yeah, actually, in the order you made it, F3 Mech Candy and Adept. That's probably the order of what was most successful versus least successful last season. Um, and majority of Supreme bots are around a $50 renewal price. But if you have any individual questions about that, just ask me at Juice and I'll go find it after the live stream is over. Um, let's see. Yeah, Mech Preem is honestly one of the best too. They're F3 and Mech are neck and neck because Mech Preem did cook this the box logo last season, so and every single drop. Um, yes, we're definitely gonna do more live streams in the future. I was gonna do them every 2 weeks, potentially even every week, because I do really like how this is going. You guys are seem to be getting a lot of good answers out of it, and like my goal at the end of the day is to help you guys cook. So if this is helpful for you guys, just let me know after the live stream, and I'm happy to continue doing these. And also next time, maybe come with a better plan and make sure A and B doesn't restart my computer. um, yeah, I can show you how to do the Resi proxy change. So for Cyber, let's say DC proxies. Um, I I hope this works, but I don't know if Cyber's gonna let me do this. Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So okay, so let's say this was a Yeezy supply drop, and I was I had to run my tasks early because you want to start your tasks early, and boom. So this is what my tasks would be like. I'd be running them, and it'd be like that. Oh, that would be awesome if these ever restocked. But anyways, so if these tasks were waiting for the product, and let's say the drop was in 5 minutes, what I would do is I'd simply go here while they were running, put it to Resi proxies, switch it, I would do settings and I would change the delay to like probably like 10,000, just so I don't have my data being burned. And then about 1 minute before the drop, I'd probably drop it to like 3,000, and then about 30 seconds, I drop it to 2,500, and then 15 seconds, I put it at like 1750. Boom, I would be done. Product drops, then you hopefully get captchas, and you just deal with it that way. For Kodai, what you would do is use the monitor proxy feature because they don't have an option to switch your proxies without stopping your tasks. So all you would do is you would set your DC proxies to the monitor proxies, and you would set your residential proxies to the checkout proxies, because those would be the proxies that are adding to cart and then also checking out, which is the places where Shopify has their anti-bot that flags DC proxies. So that would be the way to do it with Kodai. I don't have Kodai installed um, on my local right now, and it's on my computer or on my server. And it has all my personal information there, so I can't show it to you right now. But I can help you in the server if you need that. Um, does setting a runtime for Supreme work well? And do you need to switch delays and other stuff? Honestly, what I do for Supreme in terms of like delays is pretty easy. You just have it. You need 1-to-1 proxies minimum, so I just do 1-to-2 to be safe. But you can still do this with 1-to-1. You just set your monitor to 300, set retry to 500. You can do this for pretty much every single bot. Start 15 seconds early. For majority of bots, I think F3 you have to start a little earlier than that. But yeah, just start 15 seconds early, let your tasks run. Have your captcha solvers ready. Best foot site proxies. Fatal have done well for me. I know Hex is good. There's also Surge is good on foot sites. These are all AIO proxies, by the way, because you need those. And then for residential, it's probably the same as usual. It'll be juiced once we are out, and then it'll also be the blank's pretty good. Surge is good for resis at the moment, and Revolve has always done well for me. 600 tasks for Supreme would equal 600 plus proxies. Yeah, obey me. Um, Thank you, Careless Style. Matthew G, I can't draw a picture right now in Paint just because we're kind of cut on time, but maybe I'll post one in the Juice chat. For timeout during big releases, I do, like for Easy Supply, I'd do 90 or maybe like 75. For Kith, I did, I think, 40. But if you're using Resi proxies, you probably won't get throttled. But if you want to be safe for big releases, do 75. You cannot edit your individual delays on Cyber. Ghostist, yes, I am planning on doing a live cop. I've always wanted to do that, but my computer's always sucked. I finally have a better computer. And the fact that this live stream has been going pretty well, I think I want to do live cops. So I'm going to try to do it for the LA to Chi EU drop for the Jordan ones. I'm going to try to do it for that. Little Broomstick. I made 10 tests according to percentages of modes and stuff. 20% fast mode equals 2 fast mode tests, and then duplicate. I'm sorry, Boomstick. I don't know exactly what your question's asking. Let's see what else there is. Why do people start tasks way before the drop time? So the reason why I do it is because sometimes sites like to be stupid and drop like product way earlier. Like for example, I don't remember which drop this was. I think it was Yeezy drop. I think it was a reflective black 350s. But Kith dropped like 15 minutes early. And so like most people would say, oh yeah, start your test like 15 seconds before. But for all the people that were doing that, they all took the L. But all the people that had their test running had way better chances to cop. So my rule of thumb, start your test an hour early, put them at 10,000 delay, just let them run. Especially if you have DC proxies monitoring, it doesn't matter because you're not wasting anything. All you're doing is playing it safe. What mic am I using right now? I'm using uh, Corsair Void Vega Pro. I'll put a link to it in Juiced after the live stream. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple final questions on the forum, closing in on like an hour on the stream. So if you guys want to put your last questions in the chat, feel free. Obviously, we can answer them in the Juice chat too after the stream's over, but I'll try to get as many in now. Um, so one of the questions on the Juice forum was what got you into botting and what shoes do I see skyrocketing in 6 to 8 months? So first off, what got me into botting was Supreme. I saw that like my friends were selling t-shirts that they paid $35 for and making 150. And I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. And all I have to do is wake up at this time and try to buy it. And then I started doing it, started profiting, and then it just went from there. It was really beneficial for me, and then I eventually just decided, hey, I'm gonna start working with these bot devs such as Fuzzy from AYCD, and then I started learning all this info myself, and I was like, well, I'd love to provide this to other people as well because I do enjoy helping people, and I know that I've helped a lot of people in Juiced, and I'm just going to continue to do that. So that's kind of the main thing that got me into botting and why I'm still here. And also the profits are great. I mean, I was getting to the point where even before I joined AYCD, I was about to quit my job because of how much money I was making from reselling. So just the fact that you can make tons of money and kind of work on your own schedule is awesome if you get to that level, which is easily which is possible for anyone to do. Um, what shoes do I see skyrocketing in 6 to 8 months? I would say Jordan 1s. So like any really hype low stock Jordan 1, like the satin ones will probably be close to 800 6 to 8 months. Probably more like 8 months, but LA to Chi, I could see breaking 1,000 eventually in certain sizes. Um, the Obsidians, maybe they won't get that high, but they'll probably get to like 450 in 6 to 8 months. Unions, if they don't restock, should go up to more. It's really dependent upon restocks, though. Just so like how Yeezy's been doing it, they restock everything, so the market crashes. But Nike also isn't like Adidas, so I don't expect them to continuously restock their hype products because that kind of negates the hype. So I think majority of Nike shoes are very safe, but Adidas shoes, it's kind of risky holding them. Um, yeah. One of the questions was I heard there's a method to quickly get an item out of your cart on Easy Supply. Um, I'm sure there is. I actually don't go manually too much because I have to run so many tasks with the slots and all of that. But a lot of my staff members do, so I'll make sure to pass that question over to them, and we will try to figure it out. Or they probably already know it. But if you guys go manually, use Juice Bypass. Like MoneyMine, put some work into that, and it works really well. So it's just gonna help your chances. Make sure you read the guides in the guide channel and all that. Um, so got like 2 more minutes left. I'm gonna do these final questions in the chat. Those were all the questions on the forum. But the DC to Resi switch, it is only for certain bots. So your bot has to have a mass proxy edit feature. So for example, TKS Cyber. Um, I believe Soul might have it as well now. I'd have to double check that though, but I know that those bots support it. We'll just have a renting service. People on Juice can rent out their bots, and people also. Yeah, we could start a Juice rental service. I know the AYCD market is starting one. We may do, we may have it powered by AYCD market rentals, but it is something I want to look into because I think a lot of members that don't want to invest $3,000 into a bot or $1,000 into a bot, they can maybe invest a small amount and use it for a month or so. So I'll work on getting that instituted. My favorite Jordan 1 right now, it's either the Unions, the bread toes, or the LA to Chi uh, Jordan 1 SBs, the like Laker ones. Those are my favorite right now. Best spot to start with right now, I'd say A and B because it's the most like cost effective for Adidas and foot sites. They always do really well. If you want to invest a lot of money, Cyber is the easiest spot to use. It's super simple. Press like 3 buttons, load all your stuff in, press start. But it's also $3,000, so you have to decide if you want to spend that money. And yes, you can catch restocks on Cyber, especially with our new monitors that are going to be insane if they ever restock on Instagram. But we can't really predict when they will restock, and you have to decide if it's worth it to not potentially be making all that money from it while waiting for a restock. Um, can I walk us through AYCD next time? 100%. We're actually going to do an AYCD live stream with the AYCD co-owners. Me and the other co-owner are going to do it. So I'll make sure that I announce it in Juiced as well. It should be this week. Where do you find Juice Bypass? So go to Dev Announcements and it'll show a brief video and an explanation of it. And then also in the guides channel, there's a guide for it. Do you have to jig and use different cards in Supreme? You want to. Okay, so last season I copped multiple on one card, but I think I got more cancels when I did that. And yes, you want to jig your address, your email, and your phone number, which is all built into AYCD. See, it's super easy. But yeah, if you have the Supreme privacy cards, you can use those, but normal privacy cards don't work. Okay, um, I have to get going, but this was a great live stream. I want to thank all of you for coming and being a juiced. Um, and yeah, thank you guys very much. If you guys have any suggestions or want to provide me feedback in the live stream, feel free to do it in the Juiced Suggestions channel. And Ghost is for how to get Supreme Privacy. This will be the last question I answer, but you have to spend, I believe, $1,000 on privacy, and they have to be doing like the promotion where they're allowing people to do it. So what I would do is just DM them on Twitter and ask them if they're currently offering Supreme Privacy cards, and that'll be the best way to know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy and have a good one.